Man, let me tell you something. I thought I understood what Eid was before I actually experienced it. I had heard people say it's the celebration after Ramadan. I had seen pictures, people dressed nice, big gatherings, food everywhere, smiles all around. But let me tell you right now, hearing about it and actually being there, that's two completely different things. Because when that morning came, I felt something I didn't expect. See, Ramadan had just ended. 30 days of fasting, discipline, reflection, prayer, waking up early, controlling yourself all day, thinking about your life in a deeper way. And after going through all that, I woke up on Eid morning with a feeling that's hard to describe. It wasn't just excitement. It wasn't just relief. It was something deeper, like a sense of accomplishment mixed with gratitude. I remember stepping outside and seeing people heading toward the Eid prayer. And right away I noticed something different. Everybody was dressed in their best clothes. Clean, fresh, put together. You could tell people took this day seriously. But it wasn't about showing off. It wasn't about competition. It felt like people were honoring the moment, like they were saying we made it through something meaningful, and today we celebrate that. And as I walked with them, I started hearing people greeting each other. Eid Mubarak. Eid Mubarak. And the way they were saying it, it wasn't casual. It wasn't like a quick, hey, how you do? It had warmth in it. People were smiling, hugging each other, shaking hands, genuinely happy to see one another. And I thought to myself, man, this feels like real joy. Not the kind of joy that comes from buying something new. Not the kind of joy that fades after a few hours. This felt like something earned. And then we got to the prayer. Now let me tell you something about that moment. Seeing a large group of people all gathered together, standing shoulder to shoulder, all focused on the same purpose. That's powerful. There's something about unity like that that hits you differently when you're standing in the middle of it. People from different backgrounds, different ages, different walks of life, all in one place, all connected by the same experience of Ramadan. That right there creates a bond you can feel. Nobody has to explain it. It's just there. And as the prayer started, I looked around and thought about everything that led up to this moment. The fasting, the late-night prayers, the self-discipline, the reflection, all of it building up to this day. And I realized something important. Eid isn't just a celebration. It's a release of everything you carried through Ramadan. A moment where the struggle turns into joy, where the discipline turns into gratitude, where the effort turns into something you can actually feel in your heart. And I'm standing there thinking, man, I didn't expect it to feel like this, because a lot of celebrations in the world are based on external things, achievements, milestones, material success. But this felt internal. It felt like the celebration was coming from inside people, not just from what they were doing on the outside. And that's when I realized this wasn't just another holiday. This was something deeper. And once the prayer ended and people started interacting even more, man, that's when I saw a whole other side of Eid that made it even more special. And let me tell you something, when that prayer ended, that's when the whole atmosphere shifted into something I'll never forget. Because up until that point, everything felt calm, focused, spiritual. But the moment people finished praying, it was like joy just burst into the air all at once. I'm talking about smiles everywhere. People turned into each other, hugging like they hadn't seen each other in years. Eid Mubarak. Eid Mubarak. Over and over again. And these weren't just quick, polite hugs. These were real hugs. The kind where people hold on for a second longer. The kind where you can feel genuine happiness in that moment. And I'm standing there watching all this, and before I even realize it, people are coming up to me too, smiling, shaking my hand, hugging me like I'm part of the family. And I'm thinking, man, y'all don't even know me like that. But it didn't matter. That's what got me. It didn't matter who you were. It didn't matter where you came from. On that day, everybody was connected. And that right there hit me in a way I didn't expect. Because let's be honest about something. In the modern world, people are more disconnected than ever. Everybody's busy. Everybody's focused on their own life. Even when people gather, sometimes it feels surface level. Quick conversations, quick interactions, then everybody goes back to their own space. But this felt different. This felt like a real community. I saw people checking on each other. How was your Ramadan? May God accept your fast. How's your family? There was care in those conversations. Real care, not forced, not fake, genuine. And then I noticed something else that really stood out to me. People weren't just celebrating with their close friends. They were reaching out to everyone. Strangers, new faces, people who might have been standing alone. Nobody was left out. Now that's something you don't see every day. Because most gatherings, people stay in their own circles. They talk to who they already know. But Eid breaks those walls down. It brings people together in a way that feels natural. And then came the kids. Man, when I saw the kids running around in their new clothes, laughing, smiling, excited, that added a whole different layer to the experience. You could see the joy in their faces. This was their day too. Maybe even more than anyone else's. Getting gifts, meeting family, eating good food, just enjoying the moment without any stress. And I thought to myself, this is what celebration is supposed to look like. Not stress, not pressure, not trying to impress anybody, just pure, simple happiness. And here's something that really touched me. I saw older people sitting there, watching everything with smiles on their faces. You could tell they had seen many Eids before. But the joy didn't fade. If anything, it looked deeper, like they understood something about this day that maybe the rest of us were still learning. And it made me realize something important. Eid isn't just about celebrating the end of Ramadan. It's about celebrating each other. Celebrating community, celebrating the fact that people went through something meaningful together and came out stronger. And when you stand in the middle of that kind of energy, you can't help but feel it. You can't fake that kind of unity. You can't manufacture that kind of warmth. It's real. And the more time I spent there, the more I started seeing another side of Eid that made it even more powerful. Something that goes beyond just the smiles and the hugs. Because behind all that joy, there's a deeper meaning that makes this day truly special. And let me tell you something, just when I thought I'd already felt the best parts of Eid, the prayer, the hugs, the smiles, that's when another layer opened up that really touched me in a different way. Because after all that, people started heading home, inviting each other over, gathering with family and friends, and that's when the food came into the picture. Now hold on, I'm not just talking about eating, I'm talking about sharing. Because I noticed something right away. This wasn't like your typical situation where people just sit down and eat for themselves. Everywhere I went, people were offering food to others first. Come. Sit down. Have something. Did you eat yet? That question right there kept coming up over and over again. Did you eat? And it wasn't just a question. It was concern. It was care. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, this feels like family. Even if you just met someone, they treated you like you belonged at that table. Plates being passed around, different dishes coming out, people making sure nobody was left out. And the variety, don't even get me started. Different cultures, different traditions, all coming together in one place. But the most important thing wasn't what was on the table. It was the intention behind it. Because the more I observed, the more I realized something. Eat food isn't just about enjoying a good meal. It's about gratitude. Think about it. For 30 days, people have been fasting from sunrise to sunset, controlling their hunger, their thirst, their desires. And now on Eid, they sit down to eat freely again. But instead of taking it for granted, there's appreciation in that moment. A deeper appreciation. Because when you've experienced hunger, even in a limited way, you don't look at food the same anymore. You recognize it as a blessing. And that's why people are so eager to share it. Because they understand what it means to have it and what it means not to. And that's when I noticed something else that really hit me. The generosity. People weren't just feeding their friends and family. They were making sure others were taken care of too. Giving to those in need, making sure everyone could celebrate Eid with dignity. And I thought to myself, man, this is powerful, because a lot of celebrations in the world are focused inward. What I have, what I got, what I'm enjoying. But Eid pushes you to look outward. Who else needs to be included? Who else needs to be fed? Who else needs to feel this joy? And that right there changes the entire meaning of the day. Because now it's not just about your happiness. It's about shared happiness. And I remember sitting there, eating, talking, laughing with people, and feeling something that's hard to put into words. It wasn't just satisfaction from the food. It was a sense of belonging, like I was part of something bigger than myself. And that's when it clicked for me. Eid isn't just a celebration of the end of Ramadan. It's a celebration of what Ramadan taught people. Gratitude, generosity, connection, all of it showing up in real life, in real moments, with real people. And the more I experienced that, the more I realized there was still one final piece that made this whole day truly unforgettable. Because at the end of it all, when the excitement settles down, when the gatherings slow down, there's a reflection that happens. And that reflection, that's what makes Eid more than just a day. And as the day started winding down, that's when I felt something I didn't expect. Because all the excitement, all the laughter, all the food and the gatherings, they start to slow down. People go back to their homes. The noise fades a little. Everything gets quieter again. And in that quiet moment, that's when the meaning of the whole day really settles in. I remember sitting there just thinking back on everything I had experienced. The prayer in the morning, the hugs, the smiles, the way people treated each other, the generosity, the joy. And I realized something that really hit me deep. This wasn't just a celebration. This was a reward. See, Eid feels different because it comes after effort. It comes after discipline. It comes after 30 days of people pushing themselves to be better, controlling their desires, being more patient, more generous, more mindful. And when you go through something like that, the celebration at the end carries weight. It means something. It's not empty. And that's what I think a lot of people in the modern world are missing. We celebrate a lot of things, but sometimes those celebrations don't feel fulfilling because they're not always connected to something deeper. But Eid is connected to a journey, a spiritual journey. And when that journey ends, even though the day is full of happiness, there's also a slight emotional feeling underneath it, almost like you don't want it to end. You don't want to lose that connection you built during Ramadan. And I started noticing that in the people around me too. Even while they were smiling, even while they were enjoying the day, there was this awareness, like they knew something special had just passed. Ramadan wasn't just another month for them. It was a time where they felt closer to God, closer to their purpose, more in control of themselves. And now that it's over, the real question becomes, What happens next? That thought right there stayed with me, because Eid, in a way, is not just the end of Ramadan. It's the beginning of everything you learn during it. It's like a checkpoint, where you ask yourself, am I going to carry this forward? Or am I going to slip back into my old habits? And the people I met, you could tell they wanted to hold on to it. They wanted to keep that patience, that generosity, that awareness alive, even after the celebration was over. And that's when I realized something that really touched me. Eid is not just about one day of happiness. It's about reminding people of who they became during Ramadan. It's about showing them what they're capable of. Because for 30 days they proved something to themselves. They proved they can wake up early. They prove they can control their desires. They prove they can be more patient, more giving, more connected to God. And Eid comes as a moment to recognize that, to celebrate it, to feel it. And as I sat there reflecting on all of that, I couldn't help but feel a sense of respect for what I had just experienced. Because this wasn't just a cultural event. This wasn't just a tradition people follow. This was something that touches the heart, something that brings people together in a real way, something that reminds people of what truly matters. And I thought to myself, if more people understood the meaning behind a day like this, if more people experience that kind of connection, that kind of gratitude, that kind of unity, man, the world would feel a whole lot different. Because what I saw on Eid wasn't just celebration. It was people at their best.